Hi Jay, this is Alan Cocker with ABC, former hitting coach for the Colorado Rockies and the Seattle Mariners. I'm going to take a look at your video today. Jay, one of the biggest things that I look at with my hitters and hitters of all ages is that we start out under balance. And balance for me is keeping our knees inside of our feet and then keeping our head inside of our knees. As you can see here, you are doing that. The other thing I want guys to really feel in their setup is we want to feel weight on the inside parts of these feet right here, okay? And a lot of times, even though a stance and a setup is kind of a personal preference, a lot of times we can get ourselves into a position that might cause some problems a little bit later on. As we look at your stance right here, we're very, very narrow. I would rather see your stance more with your front foot more up here in this position so we can keep the weight on the inside part of that front leg. Now as we start to, I'll erase these lines, and as we start to run forward and get into the load phase, which is getting ready to hit or getting ready to see, your foot started, your stride foot started right here, okay, and we're going to go to all the way out to here. So we're striding well over 12 inches, probably maybe 15 inches. And if we had just a little bit more balance and a little bit wider stance with the weight on the inside part of the feet right here, that stride would be a lot shorter. And then when we get to our loaded position, which is when this back heel lands on the ground right here, when that heel hits and plants into the ground, when we're loaded, we can be in a little bit better position as far as being squared up with our hips right here. We don't want this front hip to leak open, okay? And I can be in a better position with having good equal bend in both knees, okay? So I got same bend there, same bend there, and as you can see, this back knee, we've got more bend in the back knee. And then more importantly, this long stride has caused us to land with our front side a little bit more open, okay? That stride foot is at 54 degrees, and that stride foot, we want to try to keep our hitters at 45 degrees or less than 45 degrees with that stride foot. So I think all of this for me, or most of this, is probably caused because we started with our feet way in. Let me run this back. We started with our feet way in here when we were set up, and we got our stride foot way out here when it finally landed and that heel planted into the ground. So I think if we can just widen our stance a little bit to begin with and feel the weight on the inside part of our feet, that's going to keep us a little bit better balanced and put us in a little bit better position when our heel gets down on the ground, our foot lands, and now we can start our swing. Okay, we have two moves. Lower half move is with the back knee. I'm going to drive the back knee forward, and I'm going to shift the weight from my backside into the inside part of my front leg. As that's happening, my back elbow will drop into a slot just off the rib cage and the back hip. So when it drops down into the slot, what we should see is a line between our shoulder, our back elbow, and our hip, okay? And we've gotten just a little bit long in our stride, so our back elbow has worked in front of this connection right here with the shoulder, elbow, and hip. And what happens when that starts to work in front, then our hands can't catch up to get out in front of our body out here in this area to start to deliver the bat out here and then make good contact and good extension through the ball, okay? So we'll run this forward, okay? We'll run it forward a little bit more. Here we go. As you can see here, your elbow is still in front of your hands. At this point, your elbow should be more into this position, and your hands should be starting to work in front of your body. Okay, we'll run this forward. We'll run this forward. We'll take it to contact. We can see we get to contact. There's some good things here. We're palm up, we're palm down. Okay, the head and eyes are looking right down the barrel of the bat at contact. All right, that's good. That's a good thing to have happen. As soon as the head and eyes come up out of the hitting area, the barrel of the bat will follow that. Okay, so in a sense, when my head and eyes leave, my swing is done. One of the things I try to get my guys to do is to keep our head and eyes looking right down here at contact, right down here at the barrel, down the barrel of the bat for one count after contact, and that's going to ensure that we get good extension through the baseball. Okay, the next click. Okay, what I'd like to see post contact is I'd like to see the barrel of your bat extending straight out towards the pitcher. You can see your barrel starting to finish here. Now your hands are going to start to cut across your body just a little bit quickly. Okay, let's take a look. See how they're coming across your body just a little bit. If we get the good extension past contact, we get a much longer, a much fuller finish with the barrel of our bat and the arc of our bat past contact. Okay, all of this for me, Jay, starts back here, right there. We're so narrow and our stride gets so long that our body parts get out of whack just a little bit. So if we can start a little bit wider, and we can, if we're going to stride to here, if I start a little bit wider, now that stride becomes more of a 5 to 6 inch stride. Okay, then when I get it down, I make sure that this foot is at a 45-degree angle, all right, as opposed to what you were at 50 something, and this front hip doesn't start to leak open just a little bit quickly. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set a ball on the outside third, or the outside part of home plate. Okay, and I'm going to stick the tee right off my front stride foot. I'm going to put a ball on that tee, and I'm going to load, and I'm going to get to the position to where I got good equal bend in both knees. All right, this stride foot is no more open than 45. It's going to be more into this area right here. And then I'm going to get down into the connected position. Okay, my elbow drops down, so I got shoulder, elbow, back, hip, all in alignment. And now from here, Jay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to think about skipping a rock with my top hand. If I skip a rock and I want to skip this rock through this ball, say out here towards the second baseman, I want to hit a line drive on this pitch. I want to hit a line drive through the second baseman. And I'm thinking I'm skipping a flat rock across the lake. Now my extension will stay more through the ball, and I'll get a much longer, fuller finish, as opposed to kind of cutting that swing off and pulling my hands across my body in this direction. Okay, I think if we can get you in a better position to hit from your setup position, I think all the other pieces will kind of fall into place. But the biggest thing is not letting this get in front, this elbow get in front of this connection. At this particular time, that elbow should be more into this area, and now the hands should start to work forward. And now as my hands work forward, I'm going to skip that rock, and my elbow can't work in front of my body. It has to stop at that connected point, and then as it releases the rock, that's the barrel and that's the bat speed going through that ball to get you extension and stay through a ball and hit the ball as hard as we possibly can without a lot of extra added body parts and motions in our swing. Okay, bud, this is a drill that I do with my big league players a lot. We want to try to stay on the ball and get good full extension through the ball. So I think this is a drill that will help you. I want to thank you for coming to our camp, and good luck, bud.